All right, everybody. Right here we have our box of collector's commander boosters for Final Fantasy. I bought these from a local card shop. They have a online store as well called Summoning Grounds. I'm gonna link that. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll link that in the description so you can check them out there. Bunch of great guys, always seem to do well by the customer, and I really appreciate that. I've had a fun time playing at their store as well, so make sure to check them out. Yeah, we're gonna go through all the different commander decks today for Final Fantasy. These are the collectors bundles, so that means they're going to have a like little sample collectors pack, and then they'll all be surge foils. We're going to go through all the cards and kind of get a breakdown and to see how it goes. I don't know that I'll read every single card like I normally do, but my goal is to kind of go through and show some of the interactions and just kind of go through and show what each one has to offer. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this box and find out what our pools are for the day. Not really, we know what these are. I'm curious to see what we get from the sample packs, because I've seen a mix of hits and non-hits. But here we are. Some people don't really like the surge foiling. I like the surge foiling. I think all of these look. I'm like a huge fan of them, but I think they look really, really great on these cards. So our plan is we're gonna go through each of them. I personally think Cloud's probably going to be the one that's going to be what most people buy. Not necessarily because it's the best deck, but I think it's what people look for in the sense of they want to. They have like memories of Final Fantasy VII. It's what they want to go through and play. So, like I said, we're gonna go through and check it out. This is a red, green, and white deck. And we're gonna get in the box. Let me see if there's the best way to open. I do think we're gonna go through the box. Oh. But surely, chat. Try not to damage the box. I have failed. Anybody was wondering, I have drastically. All right, so open it up. You're gonna have your little deck box here. Deck box, obviously, but you get. You have your counters on the side here. Actually, look pretty good. Pop those out. I'm playing Commander tonight. I'm still getting back into Magic, so like I have counters and things, and I have my tokens, but I still like to have these. I'm helping my son learn to play, and having these on the side are always like because you can't go wrong without them. Then backside of it, that actually isn't the card, by the way. Its own box and people bamboozle on the backside. We have Cloud. We have one of the crystals. Deck is here. Back here behind them. Our sampler collector's booster. Go and you get a nice little booklet here. And this will give you a couple things. A, it gives you the poke. But on the other side, it talks to you about the colors of them and the idea of the limit deck with Tifa and Cloud. It also gives you the rules for Commander. So if you're new to Commander, go get a chance to a little help there just off the bat. I think we will have some fun, and we're going to open the sample collectors first and go from there. And we got Soldier Carry Program. At the beginning of combat, your turn, choose one. If you control a commander, you may choose both instead. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token and put a +1/+1 counter on each of one of up to two soldiers you control. We got Cat Sith, Fortune Teller. Let's go. Lucky slots. At the beginning of combat on your turn, scry 1, then exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a card this way, target creature you control gets plus X plus 0 until the end of the turn, where X is that card's mana value. Let's go. Let's go. Love to see it. Enbright, when are we getting the Tabletop Sim Commander streams? I'm actually working on something that doesn't use Tabletop Sim. That I think will be easier for people to use and overall possibly provide a better experience. Enbright, I've play tested it the other day, and we'll probably try to bring it to stream maybe next week. Just need to get the people on board that would be interested. All right, so let's take a look at this Cloud deck. Like I said, starting off with Cloud here. I think this is the one that's probably going to be the most bought. Just give you an idea of all the different cards in this deck. And remember, these are all Surge foils, so sometimes maybe the lighting might be a little bit hard. But we have Cloud X Soldier. Haste, when Cloud enters, attach up to one target equipment you control to it. Whenever Cloud attacks, draw a card for each equipped attacking creature you control. Then, if Cloud has power 7 or greater, create 2 treasure tokens. Basically, Voltron type deck. You have Tifa Martial Artist. I love this art on this card. Melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this turn, or this combat, sorry. Whenever one or more creatures you control with power 7 or greater deal combat damage to a player, untap all creatures you control. If it's the first combat phase of your turn, then there's additional combat phase. They're going to Voltron off of each other. We have Sid, Free Flyer Pilot. It's an equipment. Jump during your turn. Sid has flying. You can return target equipment or vehicle from card from graveyard to your hand. Cloud's Limit Break. It's a tiered. You have Cross Slash for 0. Destroy target tapped creature. You can pay 1 to do Blade Beam. Destroy any number of target tapped creatures with different controllers. And Omni Slash. Destroy all tapped creatures. Elena, sorry. When Elena enters, return target non-assassin historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast a historic spell, put a +1/+1 counter. Yo, what's up, Dep? How we doing, man? We're going through the new Magic the Gatherings Commander boxes. I got the collector's boxes, and I'm really excited about them. So we're just checking all the cards out. This is the Cloud box. Heidegger Shinra Executive. At the beginning of combat, your turn, target creature you control gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of soldiers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to the number of opponents you control who control more creatures than you. We have Helitroop. Flying. When this creature attacks another target attacking creature, gains flying until end of turn. Equip abilities you activate that target this creature costs 2 less to activate. Soldier Military Program. At the beginning of the combat of your turn, choose one. Isn't that what we pulled? Yeah, we got one. So we have 2 of those now. We got one in our pack. Ultimate Holy Magic. I love the magic spells on this, by the way. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If this spell was cast from the exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Foretell. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it a later turn for its Foretell cost. Avalanche of Sector 7. It's a menace. Avalanche of Sector 7's power is equal to the number of artifacts your opponent control. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact they control, Avalanche of Sector 7 deals 1 damage to that player. Cat Sith Fortune Teller, which was the other card we got here. Got 2 of those. We got already read that one. Summon Kajuta. Lightning. This creature deals 3 damage to each of 2 target creatures. Ice, up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn, and for 3 on your third part of the saga. Fire, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. When they discard a card this way, this creature deals damage equal to that card's mana value each opponent. Ultimate Magic Meteor. Ultimate Magic Meteor deals 7 damage to each creature. If this spell was cast from exile for each opponent, choose an artifact or land that player controls. Destroy those chosen permanents. Vincent Vengeful Atoner. Menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on Vincent. Chaos. Whenever Vincent deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. If since its power is 7 or greater. So there's a lot of 7 or greater stuff in here. Yuffie Materia Hunter has ninjutsu. When Yuffie enters, gain control of target non-creature artifact for as long as you control Yuffie. Then you may attach an equipment you control to Yuffie. You have the Wise Elder with Reach. Lifestream's Blessing. Draw X cards where X is the greatest power among your creatures you controlled. As you cast a spell, if this spell was cast from exile, you gain twice X life. Professor Hojo, the first activated ability you activate during your turn that targets a creature you control costs 2 less. Whenever one or more creatures you control become the target of an activated ability, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Summoning Materia, great art, by the way. Like, these are just so good. You may look at the top card of your library. As long as this equipment is attached to a creature, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. Tap it, you can add a forest. Its equip cost is 2. Aerith, Last Ancient, has lifelink and raise. We have Barrett, Avalanche Leader. Red 13, Proud Warrior, legendary creature beast with vigilance and trample. Sephiroth, Fallen Hero. Nova Cells, whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may put a cell counter on target creature until end of turn. Each modified creature you control has base power and toughness 7/5. The Reunion. Pay 3, sacrifice a modified creature. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Conformer Surtican is one of our legendary artifacts. Equipped creature has, whenever this creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. If that creature has greater power than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature equal to the difference. Wrecking Ball. Equipped creature has base power and toughness of 7/7 and can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Foster Command lets you choose to. You can destroy all artifacts, enchantments, all creatures of mana value 3 or less, or all creatures mana value 4 or greater. Bastion Protector. Bronze Guardian. Clever Concealment. Look, it's the cloud card where he's dressed up. That's funny. That's so good. Pure Steel Paladin. Unfinished Business. Return target creature card from graveyard to battlefield, then return 2 target aura and equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield to attach that creature. Vanquish the Horde. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. Oh my goodness. That's Chaos Warp. The owner of a target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, then they put it onto the battlefield. Hellkite Tyrant. Professional Facebreaker with Menace. Decimate. Armory Automation. Champion's Helm. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. As long as it's equipped to a creature is legendary, it is hexproof. Conqueror's Flail. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each color among permanents you control. Dark Steel Plate. Indestructible. Equipped creature has indestructible. Dude, these cards are so good. They did a really good job on these. All right. We have Inspiring Statuary. Non-artifact spells you cast have Improvise. Sword of Animist. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped. Battlefield Forge, some of our lands. Bonder's Enclave. Brushland. Canopy Vista. Cinderglade. Clifftop Retreat. Exotic Orchard. Firelit Thicket. Fortified Village. Fury Clam Snarl. Game Trail. Ooh, I like that one a lot. That one looks good. Mossfire Valley. Rootbound Crag. Rugged Prairie. Scavenger Grounds. Slayer's Stronghold. Spire of Industry. We love that one. That one's great. Sungrass Prairie. Sunpetal Grove. Scorched Divide. Then we get back to, we have Zack's Fair. Zack Fair enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. You can sacrifice Zack Fair. Target creature you control gains indestructible until the turn. Put Zack's counters onto that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zack to that creature. Barrett Wallace has Reach. You have Dispatch, you can tap a target creature. Metalcraft, if you control 3 or more artifacts, exile that creature. Secret Rendezvous, that's one of the secret rendezvous you can get. There's several of them. Furious Rise. Vandal Blast, destroy target artifact you don't control. Cultivate, search your for 2 lands, reveal those cards, put onto the battlefield tapped. Put into your hand. Harmonize, draw 3 cards. Nature's Lore. Rampant Growth. Behemoth Sledge, equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. Arcane Signet, that you can see the materia in his sword there. That's really cool. Colossus Hammer. Equipped creature gets +10/+10 and loses flying. My goodness. Equip cost was 8, by the way. Fluoroscope, Hero's Blade, Hero's Heirloom, Lightning Greaves. That's really great. That's a great one. And Mask of Memory. I'm really loving I'm such a Final Fantasy fan. I'm so excited about this set. We have Skull Clamp. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature dies, you draw 2 cards. Soul Ring. That's our Soul Ring. Trailblazer Boots. Ash Baron. So we're back. Evolving Wilds. Jungle Shrine. Path of Ancestry. I like that one a lot. You can see them sitting on the cliff. Radiant Grove. Sacred Peaks. Wooded Ridgeline. Command Tower. Oh. And then here's our basic lands. You can see the chocobos in the forest. That's really great. The artwork is just so good. And here's all of our tokens. Foretell. After you foretell a card, you can place that exiled card here. You may cast it, so it's just a place for your foretell. And then treasure token on the back. That's Cloud. I'm gonna sleeve all these today. I don't have the Cloud sleeves because the Cloud sleeves, I wanted to get the Apex ones and they didn't have min yet, so we're having to wait a little bit. Having to wait a smidge till I can sleeve those, but I'll be sleeving them after stream today so I can play them in Commander tonight. And then give me 1 second, chat. I gotta grab some coffee. I gotta check on the boys real quick and turn on a fan. All right. We are back. All right. So, we're going to move on to Terra. And this deck is called Revival Trance. And we've already went through Cloud. So you kind of have the idea of how this is going to be laid out. Actually need to set all this stuff over with Cloud done. So give me 1 second. Let me go back and do that. My Apex sleeves are supposed to come in tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, come in later. I bought sleeves though. I tried to buy them themed with the deck, so I have Terra. And then I bought the Knights of the Round sleeves. But we're waiting on our like Titus and other ones to come in. Like they're gonna be here probably next week. Tracking down some of this Final Fantasy stuff has been very, very difficult. But I love Final Fantasy, and I'm excited to be able to play with Magic the Gathering. It's gonna be great. Let's hop into the Terra deck and check out Revival Trance. It says, fill your graveyard, revive your fallen heroes. Go through this the same way. So, we have our deck box. Comes with it. And there's a nice little touch on these deck boxes. I didn't show it with the Cloud one. But what I really, really like here is the little tiny chocobo on the bottom. I just love the little attention to detail things that they do. Again, we have our counters. And I'm excited because tomorrow I'm playing two-headed giant, but they call it Behemoth for Final Fantasy. They're also like the chocobo. They're calling draft chocobo races. But I'm playing two-headed Behemoth tomorrow with Luke. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, these are great. The only thing I haven't been able to snag yet is there's a gift bundle I haven't been able to get, and I haven't bought a collector's booster box just because I'm waiting to see if I can get it closer to MSR or wait for the prices to drop. They're just really expensive. But I do have a play booster box we're going to open after this today. Again, shout outs to Summoning Ground. I'll have a link for them in the description of the video, so make sure to go check them out. Or if you're in the Tennessee area and you want to come play some Magic. All right, let's see what we get from our sample collector's booster. Oh, nice. We got the Warring Triad. Blind Trample Haste. As long as there are fewer than 8 cards in your graveyard, the Warring Triad isn't a creature. Tap, you can mill a card. Target player adds 1 mana of any color. And then we got Yuffie Material Hunter in our collector's booster sample, which is hollow, so that was unfortunate to say the least. All right. I didn't mention this, and I probably... This deck is red, white, black mana. So just to give you an idea of what we're going to be seeing here. And we'll go through it the same way we went through Cloud. So we start off with Terra, Herald of Hope. Trance at the beginning of combat on your turn, mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying until end of turn. Whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2. When you do, return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, gonna feel really good as a commander. We have Celeste, Rune Knight. Whenever Celeste enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards plus 1. Whenever one or more other creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on it, or on each creature you control. Point of Fate. When this artifact enters, surveil 1, exile 2 creature cards from your graveyard, sacrifice this artifact, and opponent chooses one of the exiled cards. You put that card on the bottom of your library and return the other to the battlefield tapped. You become the Monarch. Scion. This spell costs 1 less for cast for each creature card in your graveyard. Double Strike. Whenever one or more creatures cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on it. General Leo. General Leo enters, return up to 1 target creature card from mana 3 or less from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Then put a +1/+1 counter onto General Leo for each creature you control. Esper's Magicite. Look at that great Kefka art. Exile each opponent's graveyard. When you do, choose up to 1 target creature card exiled this way. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's an artifact and it loses all other card types. The Falcon Airship Restored, flying. Whenever Falcon Airship deals damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You can pay 5 to return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It has crew too. Interceptor's Shadow Hand. Or Shadow's Hound. Oh my god, I can't read. Menace. Assassin you control have Menace. Whenever you attack with 1 or more legendary creatures, you may pay 2 or pay 3. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Rejoin the Fight is a sorcery. You mill 3 cards. Then starting with the next opponent in turn order, each opponent chooses a creature card in your graveyard that hasn't been chosen. Return each card chosen this way to the battlefield under your control. Shadow Mysterious Assassin. Death Touch. It has throw. Whenever Shadow deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice another non-land permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards and each opponent loses life equal to the mana value sacrificed. Siegfried, Famous Swordsman. Menace. When Siegfried enters, mill 3 cards, then put X +1/+1 counters on Siegfried. Whenever X is twice the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Gao, Feral Youth. We have Rage. Whenever Gao attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. At the beginning of each end step, if a card is left in your graveyard this turn, Gao deals damage equal to its power. The opponent. We have Go-Go, Mysterious Mime. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, you may have Go-Go become a copy of another target creature you control until end of turn, except its name is Go-Go Mysterious Mime. If you do, Go-Go and that creature each get +2/+0 and gain haste until end of turn and attack this turn if able. Sabin, Mysterious Monk, has Double Strike and Blitz, which you discard a card. You may cast this card from your graveyard using the Blitz ability. We have Snort. Then each player may discard their hand and draw 5 cards. Then Snort deals 5 damage to each opponent who discarded their hand. You also has Flashback. We have Strago and Realm. Sketch and Lore. We have Summoning Esper. Part 1 of the saga is at exile an instant or sorcery card from each graveyard. And then 2, 3, and 4 add a mountain for each lore counter on this saga. You may cast an instant or sorcery card exiled with the saga, and mana of any type can be used to cast it. We have Amaru, Raging Yeti, has Trample. You also get to choose at the beginning of your combat, choose one at random. Each creature, other creatures you control get +3/+0 and gain trampled in a turn. Discard your hand, then draw 4 cards. Amaru deals 5 damage to any target. We have Banon, the Returns Leader. It's a 1/3. Edgar, Master Mechanist. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an artifact spell from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, the artifact enters tapped. Tools, whenever Edgar attacks, he gets +X/+0 until the turn where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Kefka, let's go. During your turn, Kefka has Indestructible. At the beginning of your end step, exile a card at random from each opponent's graveyard. You may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Then each player who owns a spell you cast this way loses life equal to its mana value. Actually wild. Lock can't be blocked by creatures with great power. We have Mog. There we look at Mog, our Moogle warrior. Look at him. Lifelink, and then Dance at the beginning of your end step. Each player may discard a card. Each player who discarded a card this way draws a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, you create a 1/2 white Moogle creature token with Lifelink. Then, if a non-creature card was discarded this way, put a +1/+1 counter on each Moogle you control. Setzer. We have the Warring Triad, which is oddly what we pulled again in our sample pack for collectors again. We have Sun Titan. That's sick. Tragic Arrogance. Archfiend of Depravity. We have a Reanimate. Rise of the Dark Realms. Put all creature cards from your graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. Crazy card. Sepulchral Primordial. We have Combustible Gear Hulk. Strike on it. Player of the Hatebound. We have Ruin Grinder. Menace. When this creature dies, each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. Has Mountain Cycling on it. And then when Bedevil, destroy target artifact, creature, and Planeswalker. Legions of Ash. Exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls and all tokens that player controls with the same name as that permanent. Priest of Fell Rites. Pay 3 life, sacrifice this creature, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a source. Also has Unearth. Ruinous Ultimatum. Oh my, destroy all non-land permanents your opponent controls. What a fun Kefka card. Key to the City. Discard a card up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever this artifact becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. We have Solemn Simulacrum. And then we hit it into our lands here. So we have Battlefield Forge, Clifftop Retreat, Desolate Mire, Dragon Skull Summit, Exotic Orchard. We have more on the way. Field Heath, Foreboding Ruins, Furycom Snarl, Graven Cairns, High Market, Isolated Chapel, Rugged Prairie, Shadowland, Shadowblood Ridge, Shine Shadow Snarl, Smoldering Marsh. Some of these arts are just so great. Sulphurous Springs, Sunscorched Divide, Phoenix Down is an artifact that we love to see. Exile this artifact, choose 1, return target creature card with mana value 4 or less from the graveyard, or you can exile target skeleton, spirit, and zombie. Laughing Mad. Oh, the art on that is wow. As an additional cost, cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. It has flashback. Angel of Ruins. Wow. Palace Jailer. When this creature enters, you become the monarch. When this creature enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until an opponent becomes the monarch. Morbid Opportunist. Knight's Whisper. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Pitiless Plunderer. Whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Stitch Together. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Threshold. Return that card from your graveyard to the battlefield instead if 7 or more cards are in your graveyard. Stitcher's Supplier. When this creature enters or dies, mill 3 cards. Anger. Oh, look at the bombs. Oh, it's so good, dude. Haste. As long as this card is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. Big Score. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and create 2 tokens. Crackling Doom. Deals 2 damage to each opponent. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. Mortify. Destroy target creature or enchantment. Arcane Signet. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. Command Sphere. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. Sacrifice this card to draw a card. Meteor Golem. Millicard. Mind Stone. That's a great art too. The Soul Ring. Wow. What a great Soul Ring. Swiftfoot Boots. Talisman of Conviction. Talisman of Indulgence. Oh, dude, I love this. Wayfarer's Bauble. And then we get to more of our lands. Good portion. We're going to grab them together here. We have Ash Barrens, Demolition Field, Evolving Wilds, Geothermal Bog, Nomad Outpost, Path of Ancestry, Rogue's Passage, Sacred Peaks, Sunlit Marsh, Command Tower, and then we have our plains, our swamps. Ooh, I like the dragon in those. Our mountains. Then we have our tokens. Blackjack. Oh, the Monarch. I didn't do that with the cloud ones. The Monarch, at the beginning of your instep, draw a card. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch. We have our Moogles. Right, there we go. That's our Terra deck. Again, going to sleeve these in a bit, but as not to bore you all with that, we will put that over. Another one down. All right, chat. I'll be back in just a second. I gotta fix a couple things in the All right, give me 1 second, chat. We'll be right back in just a sec. Sorry about that, chat. I need to go check on Logan. He had to ask me a couple questions. Okay. All right. Time for another one. It's time for Counter Blitz. And we love some Blitzball in this household, okay? That's just the way of it. So, let's check out our Titus deck. Again, it's going to be green, white, blue this time around. Maybe we get lucky with one of these sample commander packs, but so far, they have not been great to us. Quite rough. All right. Here is our Titus box. And they're all going to come with that. Counters. On over there. This bad boy over. Deck. I didn't show the Terra poster, did I? the Titus art. Oh, plastic and really nice little. Wish I bought this like normal bundle. I haven't gotten. Gonna be here till like the feels like forever, chat. All right, here we go. Let's go through our sample booster here. We're eventually going to get something good from one of these, I think. All right, ready? And Bamboozle, Esper's Magicite, and another Yuffie Materia Hunter. We got 2 of those out of those. We have not had good luck with that yet. All right, so let's check out the Titus deck. Again, I'm going to go through and just check out all the cards here so you can kind of check it out. See all the lovely artwork on them. Go from there. So we have Titus Una's Guardian. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. Cheer. Whenever one or more creatures you control with counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate. Jeez Louise. Do this only once each turn. Yuna's Grand Summoner. Grand Summon. Tap and add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that number of +1/+1 counters on a target creature. Orin, Venerated Guardian. Vigilance as Shooting Star. Whenever Orion attacks, put a +1/+1 counter onto it. When you do, exile target creature. Defending player controls with power less than Orin's power until Orin leaves the battlefield. Chocobo Knight. Finally get some chocobos. Whenever you attack creatures you control with counters on them, gain double strike until end of turn. That's actually insane. Gada and Luzu. Flash. When Gada and Luzu enter, choose target creature you control. If damage would be dealt to that creature this turn, prevent that damage and put that many +1/+1 counters onto it. Lord Jiskel. Line at the beginning of each instep, if you put a counter on a creature this turn, investigate. Protection Magic. What a great art. Dude, some of these arts are just so good. Put a shield counter on each of up to 3 targets. Summoning Zion. Arrow Spark. Exile target creature and opponent controls until this saga leaves the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures you control, and you gain 2 life for the second 2 parts. Summon Yojimbo. Part 1, exile target creature, target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature and opponent controls. 2 and 3. Until your next turn, creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. 4. Create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of opponents who control a creature with power 4. Summoner Sending. At the beginning of your instep, you may exile target creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Put a +1/+1 counter onto it if exiled card's mana value is greater than 4 or greater, sorry. Blitzball Stadium, there we go. When this artifact enters, support X, where you put +1/+1 counter up to X creatures, and go for gold, tap for 3. Until end of turn, target creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each kind of counter on it, and it can't be blocked this Lulu's Turn Guardian. Whenever an opponent attacks, you choose target creature attacking you, put a stun counter on that creature. You can pay to proliferate. Oyaka Traveling Merchant. Remove a counter from a non-land permanent you control, draw a card. Riku. Whenever you put 1 or more counters onto a creature until end of turn, that creature can't be blocked by creatures your opponent controls. You can steal for 1. You can move a counter from a target creature and opponent controls to a creature you control. Activate only as a source. You can summon Veil for Part 1, Sonic Wings. Each opponent chooses a creature with greatest mana value among their creatures they control. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. 2, 3, and 4. Tap up to one target creature and put a stun counter on it. It has flying. Seymour, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to Master Seymour's power onto another target creature. You can pay 5, Monstrosity X, where X is the number of counters among creatures you control. Sphere Grid. Oh, dude, I love it. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter onto creatures. Unlockability. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have reach and trample. Summon Mega Sisters. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Choose one at random. Combine power. Put 3 +1/+1 counters onto a target creature. Defense. Put a shield counter on a target creature. You gain 3 life. Fight. The creature fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. Traumel, Seymour's Butler. Each other non-token creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. You can pay to proliferate. Yuma's Decision. Choose one. Continue the pilgrimage. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, draw a card, and then you may put a creature card and or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Find another way. Return 1 or 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. Yuna's Whistle. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a creature card this way, put X +1/+1 counters on the target creature you control. X is the mana value of that. Kamari, Valiant Guardian. Vigilance has Ronso's Rage at the beginning of each combat on your turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kamari and tap target creature and opponent controls. Then you may have Kamari become a copy of that creature, except its name is Kamari, Valiant Guardian, and it has Vigilance. Shalinda, Yvonne Acolyte as lifelink. Whenever another creature you control enters, put +1 counter on that creature. If its power is less than Linda's power, otherwise put +1. Linda. Sin, Unending Cataclysm. Blind and Trample. As Sin enters, remove all counters from any number of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Sin enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is twice the number of counters removed this way. When Sin dies, put the counters on, then shuffle this card into the owner's library. Holy, that card's crazy. Waka! Reach, Trample. Whenever Waka deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to one target artifact that a player controls and put a +1/+1 counter on Waka. Blitzball Captain. At the beginning of your end step, if a counter was put on Waka this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature. Wow. Collective Effort. Escalate, tap an untapped creature you control. Choose one or more. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player. Damning Verdict. Destroy all creatures with no counters on them. Farewell. Choose one or more. Exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. Luminous Broodmoth. Flying. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. Promise of Loyalty. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can attack you or planeswalkers you control as long as it has a vow counter on. Resourceful Defense. Whenever a permanent you control leaves combat, if it had counters on it, put those counters on a target permanent you control. Pay 5, move any number of counters from a target permanent you control onto a second target permanent you control. Scholar of New Horizons. This creature enters a +1/+1 counter on it. You can tap to remove a counter from a permanent you control. Search your library for a plains card and reveal it. If an opponent controls more lands than you may put that card onto the battlefield tapped. If you don't put that card on the battlefield, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Sunscorch Regent. Dragon. Type Together Forever. When this enchantment enters, support 2. Choose target creature with a counter on it. When this creature dies this turn, return that card to its owner's hand. Chasm. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, create X/1/1 blue squid creature tokens with Island Walk, where X is the number of +1/+1 counters. Inexorable Tide. Whenever you cast a spell, proliferate. Pull from Tomorrow. Draw X cards, then discard. Fantastic. Bane of Progress. Fight. Rigging. You have Hideaway. And Forgotten Ink. This deck seems really, really good. Not that the other ones don't, but this one seems like it would pretty potent. A generous patron. Whenever this creature enters support 2. Dire Sage, you have evolve, and then you can tap to add mana for each +1/+1 counter on this creature. You have hardened scales. Incubation Druid. Path of Discovery. Whenever a creature you control enters, it explodes. Rampant Rejuvenator. This creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When this creature dies, search your library for X basic cards, where X is the number is this creature's power. Tireless Tracker. Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, investigate. Altered Ego. Endless Tour. The owner of a target spell, non-land permanent, a card in the graveyard, puts their choice of top the bottom of this library. Fathom Mage. You have evolve. Walking Ballista. This creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. You can pay 4, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. You can remove a +1/+1 counter from this creature. It deals 1 damage to any target. Then we get into some lands. We have Brushland, Canopy Vista, Exotic Orchard, Flooded Grove, Fortified Village, Glacial Fortress, Hinterland Harbor, Overflowing Basin, Port Town, Prairie Stream, Sky Cloud Expanse, Sungrass Prairie, Sunpetal Grove, Temple of Enlightenment, Temple of Mystery, Temple of Plenty, Vine Glimmer Snarl, Destroy Evil. You can choose one. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater, or destroying a target enchantment. Grateful Apparition. Flying. Whenever this creature deals damage to a player or planeswalker, you perforate. Path of Exile. Exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card. An offer you can't refuse. Dust Shell Crawler. Farseek. Inspiring Call. Draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible until the end of turn. Revisit. Search your library for a forest card. Put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Bred for Hunt. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Arcane Signet. Everflow Chalice. The Soul Ring. Really good. We get back to some lands. Ash Baron, Evolving Wilds, Forge Heroes, Idyllic Beachfront, Nesting Grounds, Path of Ancestry, Radiant Grove, Seaside Citadel, Tangled Islet, Temple of the False God, Command Tower, our plains, our islands, our forests. We have our treasure tokens, our clue token, spirit tokens. They gave you a lot of extra tokens in this set because they're going to need them. You flip it over, we have our squid. That's the Titus deck, and we have some extra counters. I loved Final Fantasy X growing up, so that one's gonna be fun to say the least. And there's so many counters in that deck. So tonight my plan is for Commander, as I was gonna play kind of what's not getting played, since it's the requirement is you use a Final Fantasy precon. And I'm tempted to be like, I know for a fact Cloud's getting played tonight, but I'm in debate. I kind of want to I want to run something that other people aren't running. So I'm curious to see if there's a bunch of Clouds. This might be the one I run, because right now I'm just reading through the cards for that one. I'm very impressed with that. That one seems very annoying to deal with. Just the amount of +1/+1 counters and the use of counters is something I really, really enjoy. All right. We're on to our last of the Commander decks, chat, and then we get to do our play booster box. So this is the Scions and Spellcraft. So it's be a master caster, card advantage, and control. And it starts off with Isholta. I always say her name wrong, so if you get mad at me in the video in the comments below, I completely understand, and I already know. It's been a problem for a long time, and I don't know what to tell you. I try to fix it, and then I revert, so Eventually, I'll get it right. Alrighty. I really love the boxing for these. I want to do something with the images of the cards on the front. I think that's just so cool the way they did this. I thought about just leaving the counters on the side and just making a display for this, but I might figure that out. I'll make some type of like all the art that. Here's our deck box. Alrighty, flip it over. Let's grab the deck. There. I will not forget like I did earlier with Terra. I know. Here's our. All right, so these collector sampler packs have been pretty meh thus far. Maybe that's being might be worse than meh. Not inspire me to want to buy collector's booster pack. But maybe we get lucky and there's something really good in this sampler one. Oh, we got another Yuna's whistle. And Elena Turk recruit. Stuff we already had. Okay though. We ain't mad about it. At least there was a hollow in that one. The other ones were just straight up. Okay, I really like the Cat Sith card, so having an extra one of those. All right. Solta, Knight's Blessed, Vigilance. At the beginning of each instep, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, Yasholta deals damage, 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. Gara Tia, Lifelink, Throw Wide the Gates. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay X life, where X is that spell's mana value. If you do, create 1/1 colors hero token and put X +1/+1 counters onto it. Do this only once each turn. You have Astrologian's Planisphere. You can job select when this equipment enters, create a 1/1 colors hero creature token, then attach this to it. Equipped creature is a wizard in addition to its other types and has whenever you cast a non-creature spell and whenever you draw your 3rd card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter onto this creature. Oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce any of the Final Fantasy 14 people's names because I haven't played in so long. I'll say partner with Alfnod. They have first strike and dual cast. The second spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. Champions from Beyond. Whenever this enchantment enters, create an X 1/1 colorless hero creature tokens. You have Light Party. Whenever you attack 4 more creatures, scry 2, then draw a card. Full Party. Whenever you attack with 8 or more creatures, those creatures get +4/+4 until end of turn. Dancers, Chakrams. Job select, and then equipped creature gets +2/+2, has lifelink, and other commanders you control get +2/+2 and have lifelink, and is a performer in addition to its other types. God King Mog, let's go. Part 1 of the saga, create 2/1/2 white Moogles, creature tokens with lifelink. 2 and 3, whenever you cast a non-creature spell this turn, create a token that's a copy of non-saga token you control. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on each other Moogle you control. Flying lifelink. Tataru Taru. When it enters, draw a card. Target opponent may draw a card. Scion's Secretary. Whenever an opponent draws a card, if it isn't the player's turn, create a tapped treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. There's Thancred. Flash Royal Guard. When Thancred Waters enters, another target legendary permanent you control gains indestructible for as long as you control Thancred. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thancred gains indestructible until end of turn. There's Alphnid, Vigilance, and then Acrasia. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. Blue Mage's Cane has Job Select, and equipped creature gets +0/+2. Is a wizard in addition to its other type. And it has whenever this creature attacks, exile up to one target instant or sorcery spell. Sorcery card from defending player's graveyard. If you do, copy it. You may cast the copy by paying 3 rather than paying its mana. Spirit of Walik, equipped 2. Hermes Overseer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 bluebird creature token with flying and vigilance. Whenever you attack with one or more birds, scry 2. Arsvelgur, the first brood, flying and vigilance ward, Shiva's Aid. Whenever it enters, draw, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn, and can't be blocked this turn. This will bring about some memories of playing 14. Observed Stasis, flash, entered creature, enchant creature and opponent controls. When this aura enters, remove enchanted creature from combat, then draw a card from each tapped creature its controller. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and can't attack or block. Eye of Nidhogg, enchanted creature is a black dragon with base power and toughness 4/2 with has flying and death touch and is goaded. When Eye of Nidhogg is put into graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. And Daniel Hilarofro Ion. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Surveil 1, at the beginning of your instep, each opponent may sacrifice a non-creature of their choice. Each opponent who doesn't loses 2 life for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Reaper's Scythe has Job Select, and at the beginning of your instep, put a soul counter on this equipment for each player who lost life this turn. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter of this equipment and is an assassin in addition to its other type. Death Sickle is equipped 2. Transpose, draw a card, then discard a card. You lose 1 life. If this spell was cast from your hand, create a 0/1 black wizard creature token. Whenever you cast a creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. It also has Rebound. We have Ardbert, Warrior of Darkness. Whenever you cast a white spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain vigilance until end of turn. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain menace until end of turn. We have Emet Selk, the third seat. Spells you cast from the graveyard cost 2 less. Whenever one or more opponents loses life, you may cast target instance of sorcery from your graveyard. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Do this once each turn. Estinin. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put by +1/+1 counter on Estinin. It gains flying until end of turn. At the beginning of your second main phase, draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of your opponents who were dealt combat damage by him or a dragon this turn. Hildebrand, you can, okay, it's a 2 cost. You can cast for 3 to do Gentleman's Rise, instant adventure. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1. When Hildebrand Manderville dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an adventure until you end of your next turn. We have Krill Baldacyon, Lifelink, Trace Aether. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may return target creature card with mana value equal to that spell's mana value from your graveyard to your hand. Do this only once a turn. We have Prowess. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. As long as you cast 2 or more non-creature spells this turn, Lease has Double Strike. Hello. I'm going to try to pronounce his last name because I know. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. You can pay 4 to sacrifice. Each opponent who lost life this turn sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures. Uranger, whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile, you gain 2 life. You have Draw Arcanum. Look at the top card of your library. You may exile it face down. Play Arcanum until end of turn. You may play cards exiled by Uranger. Spells you cast this way. Archnomancer's Map. Whenever this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic playing cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more, you may put a land card from your hand onto the back. Authority of Constant. Creatures your opponent controls enter tapped. Whenever a creature an opponent controls enters, you gain 1 life. Cleansing Nova, just choose one, destroy all creatures, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Final Judgment, exile all creatures. Archmage's Emeritus, Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spells, draw cards. Dig Through Time has Delve, and look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, the rest at the bottom in your library in any order. Rite of Replication has Kicker, cost of 5. You can create a token that's a copy of a target creature. If this spell was kicked, create 5 of those tokens instead. Sublime Epiphany, choose one or more. Counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Target player controls dies. Then we got Torrential Gearhulk. Crux of Fate. Choose one. Destroy all dragon creatures. Destroy all non-dragon creatures. Lethal Scheme has Convoked. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Each creature that convoked Lethal Scheme connives. We have Murderous Rider. You can pay 3. You can do Swift In to do its instant adventure. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. You lose 2 life. It has a creature, though. It has lifelink, and when this creature dies, put it at the bottom of the owner's library. We have Baleful Strix, Flying, and Death Touch. When this creature enters, draw a card. Vindicate, destroy target permanent. These cards are so good. This spell can't be countered. Destroy target non-land permanent. Void Rend. Coveted Jewel. When this artifact enters, draw 3 cards. Tap to add 3 mana of any color. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls attacks you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of this artifact. Untap it. Tome of Legends. This artifact enters with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters or attacks, put a page counter on this artifact. You can pay 1, remove a page counter, and draw a card. And then we get to our lands. Yo, what's up, ZZ? We have Choked Estuary, Darkwater Catacombs, Desolate Mire, Drowned Catacomb, Exotic Orchard, Fetid Heath, Glacial Fortress, Isolated Chapel, Port Town, Prairie Stream, Scavenger Grounds. We also have Shine, Shadow Snarl, Sky Cloud Expanse, Sunken Hollow, Sunken Ruins, Underground River, and then we get back to some artifacts and such. We have White Auracite. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent control until this artifact leaves. You can tap it for 1 white mana. Sage Nulthless. You can job select. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has whenever this creature attacks, untap target attacking creature and is a cleric in addition to its other types. Its equip cost is Circle of Power. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Create a 0/1 Black Wizard creature token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Wizards you control get +1/+0 and gain lifelink until end turn. Cut a Deal. Each opponent draws a card, then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. Lingering Souls. Create 2 1/1 White Spirit creature tokens. It has flashback. Swords of Plowshares. Exile target creature. Its controllers gain life equal to its power. Economic Sprite. You can pay 3 to do the adventure, which is counter target spell with mana 3 value or less. You can cast as a creature for 2 with flying. We have Into the Story. This spell costs 3 less to cast if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. Propaganda. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Bastion of Remembrance. When this enchantment enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Accentuate. Each opponent loses 1 life. Gain life equal to life lost this way. Snuff Out. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Really. Siphon Mind. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. Here's our Arcane Signet in this set. Relic of Legends. Our Soul Ring. Talisman of Dominance. Talisman of Hierarchy. Talisman of Progress. Thought Vessel. Arcane Sanctum. And then our lands, Ash Barrens, Command Tower, Contaminated Aquifer, Demolition Field, Evolving Wilds, Idyllic Beachfront, Path of Ancestry, Sunlit Marsh, Temple of the False God. Here's our plains, our islands, our swamp. Here's our hero tokens. I like that they're different heroes too. That's cool. Oh, they did a really good job on that. and our Moogles. Hold on, are the other sides different too? There's our zombies, our treasure tokens, and we have human soldiers, birds, crits. That's awesome. All right, everybody. That is all of the commander decks. These are all the collector's edition of them. You can find the collector's edition of them or just the regular precons at Summoning Grounds. I'm going to link their site in the description for YouTube. So if you want to go pick them up and support them, that'd be fantastic. They helped out a lot with me being able to secure these, and they still had more in last night. So if you want to check them out and buy some stuff from them, they do Pokemon and other things as well. So feel free to check them out. But that's it for all of our collector's commander decks. We're going to open up a play booster box here in a few, but I'm going to take a break before I do that. But I'm going to set this